We had about 2,000 people and some change at the game tonight. Ownership, it is very extremely apparent that ownership just doesn't care right now in terms of getting people to the stadium. They've traded away all their best players. They've consistently slashed payroll for the last, I don't know how many years. But my friends and family, A's fans, it could be worse. It could be the Cincinnati Reds, who are, as of this recording, Monday, May 2nd, are 3-19. After an off. Yep, go ahead.
You took a breather in between, just Ann Whitney in the background. Well, our third host for tonight, Ann Whitney.
Yeah, there you go. But to make it, here's what makes things even worse. They did do the A's treatment. They did trade some of their best players or some of their better players with Sonny Gray and Eugenio Suarez and Jesse Winker.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos left in free agency.
I thought Jesse Winkler stayed. Maybe I'm wrong.
He's in Seattle.
That's right. Shit. God, there's so
Nick Castellanos was on a pod. I think he was on the Rose rotation pod.
Yeah.
And he said that the ownership didn't even call him. They didn't even call him to say, hey, look, we can't even match. We just say, hey, thank you for your time here. We really appreciated you, kind of thing. Nope.
Thank you for your
And the team president, who's also the son of the owner, said, well, what are you going to do? Sell the team to who? That's the other thing. You want to have this debate? What would you do with this team to have more profitable, make more money, more complete economic systems that the game exists? It would be picked up and move it somewhere else. Be careful what you wish for. And ever since that statement went out, they've just completely tanked. So, you know what, guys, it could be worse.
I feel like the Reds haven't spent money since like the 90s.
I mean, Joey Votto has that huge extension.
Does he have? He had an extension?
That's why he's been there the whole time. And that poor guy's losing.
He's been there the whole time, but I didn't know they had like a huge extension.
That poor guy's losing his mind. Have you seen his weird, like, social media presence now?
Oh no, he's one of the funniest people I've ever seen. Like interviews on sports, like radio shows.
So he mirrored a TikTok video that Doja Cat did, where she dressed up as like a sexy Ron Weasley and did a dance, and he did the same thing.
That's hilarious. What are you talking? That's not weird. That's fucking funny. It's like exactly what I'm talking about.
That's all he needs. He just needs to get through the season somehow. Even though my pipe dream would be he gets traded to the Blue Jays.
I feel like but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Cincinnati is such a legendary baseball town. That'd be weird not to have the Reds in Cincinnati. They're one of the oldest franchises. But in terms of our team, I feel like just reality is set in, just like the lack of talent that this team has. You know, so we knew it was coming. Like the pitching is still. I feel like the pitching is still above average. Just the offense is more inconsistent now. Which I have a rant that I'm going to get into that in the second half for the reason why I think the offense is inconsistent, so we can move on.
And on that note,
podcast, that's Julio and I'm Chris. We're wearing Warriors hats because we are showing our support for that team via this podcast. So go Warriors! Great win last night.
Dubs.
But this is a baseball podcast, so we're going to talk about baseball. Some new changes in the minor leagues have caught the eye of baseball Twitter today. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, our thoughts on it. We had a first no-hitter of the season. We had a couple close ones, but not officially. So this is the first one. And then obviously some news on Trevor Bauer. So let's start with that, huh, Julio? Trevor Bauer has been suspended 264 games, which is the equivalent of about 2 years. Exactly 2 yeyears. Sorry.
Hold on. Do your math.
I just did.
264.
324.
No, you're like 162. I'm like, Chris, come on.
Did I say 264? Oh god.
Yeah, it's all good.
I got new contacts today. I'm trying them out because I went to the eye doctor and they're kind of just like all over the place right now. Anyway,
new fucking contacts.
I don't think it's the contacts. You know how they give you those eye drops where you like they dilate your pupils so they could like look at.
Yeah.
That's just been fucking with my eyes all day, dude. It's been brutal. Anyway, I'm sure they'll be fine when I wake up in the morning. So Trevor Bauer has been suspended 324 games, which is the equivalent of 2 years. This is all from the sexual misconduct case that's been going on. One more woman has come forward. I think this was a couple days before the suspension came down, and with complaints. So I think Major League Baseball was just tired of waiting for the civil system to step in. They needed to act, and they did. I mean, you can, make what you want about this, Julio. Listeners, your opinion on whether you think he was in the right or in the wrong in his case, but I don't know. It's weird. I have mixed feelings on it. The more I read about it, I have mixed feelings on it.
It's reminding me, we're never going to know the true story. I think the same thing with a lot of stuff that we've talked about in baseball over the last few months, especially when it comes to the Hall of Fame. But it kind of reminded me of the whole debate we've had when the Hall of Fame ballots or like votes went out. David Ortiz gets him first ballot for even though he's alleged steroid use, but then Barry Bonds on his final year doesn't get in. Mm-hmm. And it goes back
Mike Piazza too, right? Isn't he in?
Yeah, and it kind of just goes back to that, as long as you're nice, you're nice to the right people, you get through, kind of thing. Because we've seen other players in the past who've kind of been in the same situation where Trevor Bauer, was getting these allegations, who got off scot-free. Marcell Ozuna's playing this season. He's on the opening day roster, even though there's actual proof
with Ozzy Albies today, though.
Anyway, yeah. And there was proof that he actually did something bad.
Yeah.
And but he's fine. But Trevor Bauer is the one that gets kind of scapegoated with it. I get, and like you mentioned, another woman did come out with allegations about it. I can speak on behalf of a lot of my Dodger friends. I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, where everybody's like, well, good riddance. Hopefully that's it and this is over.
I don't know, man. I know like 5 Dodger fans who are like, I don't know, he's coming back, we could use him. Like they were ready to accept him with open arms. So tough. They have,
if they really want to make another arm move like they did with Scherzer, and because they're kind of nervous about Bauer not coming back, they could trade somebody. They'll figure something out. It's the Dodgers. Yeah. They always figure out something, but it's just as an outsider, as just a baseball fan, it's just nice that this kind of has an end to it. We're not going to see these consistent 1 month. He's going to be suspended. Another month. He's going to be suspended.
I'm so over this case. I'm so over talking about it on this podcast. It's just like, it is what it is.
And it's like I told you on the other day, I guarantee he will play again this year in Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, you can do your research and go look it up and make your own opinion if you want. It's just, whether it was consensual or not is very up in the air, because there's a lot of evidence that shows that it is, but also there's there's evidence that shows that he crossed the line. Anyway, let's move on. First no-hitter of the season, Julio, the Mets.
Woo!
Good job. Sorry, first no-hitter of the season. I totally blow past that. You just take it over from here, because I'm just fucking that one up.
What? The first no-hitter of the season by the New York Mets. It's like the meme it says, it's not about the money, Spider-Man. I bet it's about the Mets, baby. Mm-hmm. The New York Mets, who are the best team in the National League. And guess who's the best team in the American League? The New York Yankees. The two best teams in all of baseball are all in New York right now, which is pretty crazy. Mets, the first no-hitter of the season. It was a combined no-hitter between Taylor McGill, Drew Smith, Seth Lugo, and Joely Rodriguez and Edwin Diaz, former Mariner great.
A solo pitcher no-hitter in the first 2 months in the modern day game. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, We haven't seen that in years, and the reason is because I think like a few pitchers did it like 5 years ago, and like all of them like hit the IL like instantly because of like their next start because there was something going on. And I just feel like
John Musgrove did it last year.
I feel like managers are just so like more cautious about this. Like Lincecum, it was like remember Lincecum threw like 146 pitch no hitter, and then like his second start after that no hitter, he was on the IL for like 4 months. Like it was like a thing. It's just not,
or
I think it's just not worth it.
Or
I think it's worth it, but I think managers don't think it's worth it.
I can do the more relevant one for us, which is Sean. It's happened far after when Sean and I
was in like May, right?
He threw his in April 21st. Oh. We just had the anniversary a few weeks ago, but then he was done in August. He didn't finish the season.
Yeah.
But the Mets, do you actually believe this is for real? Yeah. Do you think this is actually a really good team? Chris Bassett has been excellent. We got to give our kudos to our guy.
He didn't do so well today, though.
Yeah. So you think this is for real? You think they're going to be able to maintain this throughout the season? Because that's Mets, what everyone's always says.
The Mets, yeah. I mean, I picked them in our season preview last episode for them to take that. I was split between them and the Braves, but them to take that division. The Yankees, not so much. I think this is a little fluky. I haven't looked at their schedule though, so who knows? But I feel like the Yankees are a little fluky. Yeah.
Yeah. The rotation has been outstanding. Cole's racking up K's over there. Nasty Nestor over there has also been kind of flying under the radar. I think a lot of Yankee fans have been talking about him for some time, but he's really kind of come together this year. The pen is looking good. But it's just going to be like, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? What is it going to take? Aaron Judge is playing out of his mind lately too. So
it's not sustainable. It's just not like it like in that ballpark, when you play 82 games in that ballpark, it's not sustainable. Like those pitchers are going to fuck up eventually.
And I hope they do, because I'll be first in line to celebrate it.
Whoa.
Actually, I wanted to say that.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's other people who hate the Yankees more.
I have a softer spot for the Yankees now that we talk with Rich and Robbie so often about baseball. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've known,
because they help me see like the other side of it, not the arrogant, like ignorant fan, Yankee fan. You know what I mean? Like arrogant, like annoying, like we're the fucking Yankees, bro. We fucking win every year, bro. Like they're like a lot more pessimistic about it.
I've heard. Yeah, how many times have we seen it? Oh, Glaber's a bomb.
Yeah.
That's from one of those two. Yeah. It's a good impression of one of them. I don't know who though. The pitch clock. This is something that was a part of the MLB PA. This is actually kind of an old story, but Chris wanted to bring it back to so we can kind of speak on it.
It went viral today, Julio. It went viral today on Twitter. I had like 3 or 4 people hit me up separately to ask me my opinion on it.
So what happened today, though, to go viral?
Well, it was a Rockhounds game, right? And I think it was Ben Ross tweeted it. There was a batter in the Rockhounds game, and he has 2 strikes on him. Second strike goes, he kind of readjusts himself and he steps outside the batter's box. I think you can't really tell the scoreboard's kind of in the way of where his feet are standing, so you can't see if he's in the batter's box or not. But the umpire calls a strike on him because, according to the umpire, he stepped outside the batter's box, which is against the rules. So the rule in the minor leagues this year is there's a pitch clock. Pitcher has, from when he gets the ball back, he has 14 seconds to get on the mound and take his sign and start his windup. The batter, from when the ball gets thrown back to the pitcher, has 14 seconds to be ready for the pitch. And you're not allowed at all to leave the batter's box. You can put 1 foot outside, but you can't take both feet outside of the batter's box. You have to remain inside the batter's box at all times. If the pitcher takes too long, it goes over the pitch clock, it's a ball gets called, an automatic ball gets called. If the batter steps outside the batter's box or takes too long to get ready to take the pitch, it's a strike gets called against them. Just for the listeners who don't know the rule.
And what happened?
Sorry. Yeah. My bad. So they called
been a long day, folks.
They called a third strike, and the batter was out, and it was the first ever in the history of baseball strikeout that a pitch wasn't thrown to end the strikeout
because he took too long.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't because he took too long, because he stepped outside the batter's box, right? Because it was 9 seconds. Like I counted it. It was 9 seconds from when the catcher throws the ball to when the batter gets back in gets back into position and gets ready to take the pitch. So I think the umpire called. He stepped out of the batter's box.
And why are we talking? Sure. Yeah, and the reason we're talking about this is there is a very, very, very high chance that this is coming into Major League Baseball next year. The studies have actually shown that Jeff Passan had a piece for ESPN where it has decreased the average game time by 20 minutes, while also not affecting the number of runs are scored a game. So the scoring is still the same. The game is shorter. That's kind of a win-win. But I think the thing we're going to start seeing going forward is complaining. A lot of complaining from players, which I understand, because you're kind of completely changing the way you've been raised your whole life to play. But at the same time, I'm hoping that you're getting all the best coaching or whatever it could be to make this adaptation easier.
The reality is we're going to get a lot of complaining like the first month of it, and then it's just going to be kosher after that. Look at the substance checks now. No pitcher's bitching about the substance check anymore. It was like a 2 to 3 week thing where they went all up in arms and made this big deal about it. And now it's just nothing. No one even cares. It's just the umpire goes up, checks his hand real quick. It looks like they're holding hands for a second, and then he keeps walking. It's whatever. You know what? There's two sides to it. One, obviously the players are going to make a big deal out of it because it's different and they don't want it to happen. So they're going to try and get the public on their side. And the umpires are going to be super strict on it the first month of the season, because they need to send a message to everybody. Like, we're not fucking around. So get with the program. And then, a couple months later, they're going to be a lot more lenient on it, like they are now. Hey, let me just check your hand. All right, cool. It doesn't feel anything. No big deal. I don't need to check your glove or whatever. It's the same cycle. It's going to be fine. We're going to get up in arms about it for a month, and then we'll be over it.
They'll learn to adapt. These guys are, at least majority of these guys, are smart enough that they will learn to adapt to this. I think there's definitely going to be some bumps, and that's any process, man. Anytime you go through a big change in whatever you do on a consistent basis, of course you're going to have some road bumps in there. So everybody that's sunglasses Twitter, when people have like an avatar, their Twitter avatar is just like this close to their face, their sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's those people complaining. It's like, you know what? Who cares?
They're complaining.
They'll figure it out.
Just need to say something on Twitter, and they need to get.
Are not being heard.
Yeah. I would say, do you think that we'll have a Kyle Schwarber level outburst? I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
Which was awesome, and was rightfully so, because that was a horribly called game.
Yeah. I do want to be on record that I think I've said this on the pod, but I want to say it now that we're talking about it in the segment. I am for this change 100%. I've said it on this podcast before. There's a video on YouTube. I think it's Dennis Eckersley is side by side a video with a modern day pitcher. I can't remember. I want to say it's Max Scherzer, but I can't remember. And what takes the modern day pitcher one pitch to throw, Dennis Eckersley throws 3 pitches. Now, Dennis Eckersley was famously a fast moving pitcher back in the day, so maybe it's not the best example, but they've shown other pitchers from that era, and it's like so much quicker. Like, the pitcher, you don't need to take a fucking lap around the mound. You don't need to fucking lick your fingers, adjust your hat, cup your balls, and then step on the mound and take forever to take your sign. Like, just fucking get with it already. Same thing with batters. You don't need to step out, take a lap, redo my gloves. Oh, you know what? I just let's say, for lack of good example, all right, I step up to the plate. I watch a strike go by. You know what's really going to help me really think about this next pitch to make sure my mind is right. So I predict the correct pitches that's happening. If I step outside the batter's box, adjust my gloves 3 times and cut my balls. Yeah. You know what? These batting gloves are so tight on my wrist. It's cutting off circulation in my brain to help me look at these pitches and accurately depict if it's a slider or a fastball. Let me loosen them up here. Oh, what? A slider goes by and I thought it was a fastball. Oh, you know what? Maybe they were just too loose. Let me readjust them, make them a little bit tighter. No, get the fuck out of here. Like, just stay in the batter's box. Think about your game plan and get ready for the next pitch. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that'll show him. You're not going to throw that pitch on me now because I rotated my bat 10 times. Only player that can do that is Ichiro.
I'm just saying, like, you think that cupping your balls and readjusting your batting gloves is going to help you, like, predict the next pitch better? Like, I mean, come on, get the fuck out of here, dude.
All right, folks, coming up next on Ball Adjustment, we're going to be talking to Ball Adjustment Podcast. It's going to be the spinoff show. And that's all of our stuff we got for the big three. Now I'll move on to what our real bread and butter is. A's news.
And also that's the first rant of hopefully 2, maybe 3 rants this podcast by Chris.
Ooh, Chris feels ranty. Yeah, after today's game, I do feel a little ranty too.